Okay, this is live now. So what I'll do, I'll present the this thing. I'll briefly talk about assignment. Okay, are you able to see? Can you see assignment?
So,
Manish or anyone?
no,
Can you
no,
see?
sir. It is showing that I started screen sharing.
Okay. Acha. 1 minute. Is it visible?
Now again, it is saying that PGT memory has started.
Okay. There is some hang. I think it is got hang.
I think logging out and logging in, helps.
Yes, I'll do that. It is actually roaming that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Vidya, you wanted to say something?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, very much.
I'm really sorry. This may be computer. I just cleaned the desktop, maybe because of that heavy load. So regarding assignment, I'll take 10 minutes, then other things maybe we start. Okay. Assignment, I have given the instruction already, and I have shared you what is the requirement. If you are doing long answer type, then around 1000 to 1500 words you can write by hand. Okay. If it is short answer type, then around 200 to 300 words. There is no limit, but usually that is the standard, you follow. So after that, after writing, you can scan it and compile it properly. On the top of the page, you have to write all details that I have given there. Okay. And once you send me one, I think next week we will do one thing. One or two persons will write one answer, and if you need my guidance, I will be very happy to do. Okay. Otherwise, many of you are already, you are doing MPhil. Some of you have done graduation and MA and all. You know how to write. I should not take much time on that. Okay. But regarding assignment, I think September 31st will be the last date. I'm just informing you in advance. So better not to wait till the last date. At least the 4 courses which I gave and other 4 I'll give very soon. You start working so that timely you can complete the assignment. You feel relaxed and write the term, because you should not overburden for this diploma program. You have other work also. Okay. So this is briefly about the assignment. If you have any query, you can always ask me in WhatsApp or email. Okay. Project thing, I thought I'll also discuss with you. You plan something like those who are in golf, like Vijay is in golf. She can simply, write a project about the shops in Indian shops in golf, Indians culinary in golf. Take few photographs, discuss with them how they came, narrate their story, and your project is over. That is also qualitative thing. Find out some pattern, who are coming, which are the food, food restaurants and all this. That is one type. Otherwise, any other you take which is you can do very simple way. Okay, you can even think about Indian temples there, because golf is a different country where they don't allow other religions to practice, but nowadays you find also. So you can see how religious activity they are doing, or how the Indian cinema theaters, you can take 2 theaters and work on that. That is for the people who are living outside, like Vijay and all. Those are staying inside. For example, we have, anybody, Manish or anybody, you can think of online research also. Okay. Like you can, Manish, it will be a great contribution for you if you can do overseas, friends of Congress party. Since you are from that party, you can contribute to your party also.
Sir, the kind of research that I want to do is at a global level. What I want to do, I want to take 2 or 3 variables, for example, and then present, because this course is very important to me. So the research will be data driven, quantitative in nature, and it will encompass all countries. Maybe I will find from which country the people are going to another country, and I'm trying to get some coefficient of correlation and things like that. Yeah.
But don't make too technical, because evaluating econometrics, that coefficient and all very difficult, because what happened when the project will go to someone, that person may not have expertise on that. Make it very simple.
Yeah, so I will keep it simple and create some simple coefficients.
No, actually that economics, don't forget. Simply some statistics, simple statistics, simple analysis. See, ultimately your knowledge should be understandable by everyone, not only professional economists. Okay, so this is what you can do. Let me present today's talk. Okay, 1 minute.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is Sanu? Sir, is some simple ratio analysis and personal analysis is enough for analyzing?
Simple,
Simple? Graphical presentation or percentage-wise analysis and ratio-wise analysis. Is that enough for?
That is good. That is good, but you have to analyze.
Okay, sir. Simple. I mean,
Ah.
basic analysis, arithmetic analysis, and
You can do the analysis, but what kind of research you want to take?
like the percentile based remittance, for example, the percentage or the rate of increase in remittance and how it is
No,
affected by.
you can do that also. RBI data already there, you know. World Bank, RBI, they have lots of data on remittance. You can collect their data region wise also, and you can see. But if you want to do some study in your place where you are there, you take two, three family how they are using. You just see. That is better actually.
Okay.
You take 3, 4 family who have workers who abroad, golf or anywhere. Just give their narratives, how they are using the remittance they get, when did they go, what kind of occupation they have done, how many members are living outside. Just narrate that. You can write 30, 40 pages very nicely. Compare 2, 3 family.
Okay. So and their expenditure pattern like that and compare them.
Fantastic. This will be very good. So, but in where you work, I think so many workers will be there.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you.
No,
Sorry,
where to do your located now?
Sorry, sorry, sir, I didn't get
No,
your.
I'm saying you are in Bangalore, na?
No, in Kerala.
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 So every house you find
You
some. Okay.
okay.
Just ask, interact with them. Maybe your village also or your city also. So many people will be outside. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just take 10 family. You find some simple sample size, some analysis like relationship and all this. Okay. And then
Okay, sir.
expenditure kind of question.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm just presenting now. Okay, hopefully things will be fine now. I'm just opening this. Can you see this now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fine, but these technical things are very difficult sometimes. Okay. So today we'll be talking about demographic imperatives in the international migration. So as you all know, demography and migration both are very closely connected. Okay. So one way to understand this, today my topic will be, how they are related, demographic features and international migration. And it's how it differs also, understand the demographic impact on the international migration flows from one region to another. And third, to understand the demography of Indian diaspora. Okay. As you all know, international migration flows largely they reflect demographic pattern and economic opportunity. Demographic pattern in the sense, if we talk about, if you all know, north-south divide in the international, Many of you, if you don't know, I'll explain it. North is the developed countries like USA, Europe, and some parts of Australia and Canada and all this. So these are all global north, and global south is Africa, Asia, Mexico, and all this. Some of this, there is no clear-cut divide as such if you see the map, because but mostly they are in Europe and USA, Australia, and like this. If you see the demography, this global north, okay, global north is very resourceful countries, very rich in resource, but they have very less population. They need lots of human resource they don't have, but they have other resource. They have lots of land. You must be hearing many times people from India going Canada, going to Australia. These are the new destinations since last at least 1 decade. Why people are going? Because they have more resource, less people, and people get opportunity actually to get work there. Sometimes they get any work, but at least they get work either in agriculture or household work or anything. So global north is very rich, but they don't have people. Global south, they have lots of people. They don't have resource. That is another debate. We are not able to actually utilize in one way, but we have more population. So this demography actually create a migration flow. If you see the history of India, at least last 200, more than 200 years, we have large scale migration. You know, colonial time also, British, Dutch, and French, they have taken lots of Indian people as indentured labor. And till today, migration is flowing from India to outside. Coming in is less, going out is more. And together, if we see coming in, India received around 4 to 5 million population as refugee, like Tibetan, Afghanistan, and many Bangladeshis and all. But outward migration is more than 25 million. Sometimes people are saying 30 million. Okay, this is a very huge outward movement. So this put together, if you see international migration, not the old diaspora, but current stock of migration, it is 281 million in 2020. 281 million, which is roughly almost 3% of global population, 3.5% percentage of global population. 128 million more than 1990s, and almost 3 times estimated number in 1970s. If we see the growth, 1970, 1/3 of this 281 people migrated, almost like 100 million migrated in 1970s. And today, if we see, it is cumulatively 280 million. So the stock of international migration. Okay, so 3 times jump in last 50 years. It is a growing area actually, very important area. All of you are interested to study. It is a very good thing. And if we see Europe and Asia hosted around 87 to 86 million international migrants. Europe and Asia. Okay, Europe largely because opportunity, job opportunity. Secondly, Europe also many twice migrants they have gone there, like from colonies like Uganda and so many other Africa and all people. Indians have gone again from there to these European countries. So both Europe and Asia are receiving large. In Asia also many countries, you know, Gulf, GCC countries, Malaysia, and these are receiving countries, you know. Lots of migrants are coming to this country recent time also, and put together 86 million, which is almost 61% of global international migration stock. So this is a huge stock. Both Europe and Asia they are receiving. These regions were also followed by North America with almost 59 million international migrants into 20 or 21% of global migration stock. Okay, Africa 9%, Latin America and Caribbean 5%. These are Oceania 3%. So this, but largely the migration concentration is happening in Europe and Asia. US also for Indians and many other. Okay, if you see this is the statistics. USA is receiving largest number of migrants. Okay, these are top 7 countries. Then Germany, then Russia. You see, this includes the regional migration. Like Russia also receives migrant from like Ukraine, like other country, like especially the before USSR. Okay, once the USSR collapsed, overnight you see Ukrainian became diaspora in Russia. Afghans became diaspora in Russia. So Russia is a huge country also, landmass is very huge and it receives lots of migrants. Germany also a very huge country and it receives lots of European, Asian also, but Europe, within Europe also lots of many people migrate. Then Saudi Arabia, UK, UAE and Canada. Okay. Then if you see compared to other side, top 7 sending countries of origin. India is number 1, 50.6 million. Okay, so that's why you find Indians almost everywhere. Followed by Mexico, 12.3 million, Russia 10.6 million, China 10.5 million, Bangladesh 7.2 million, Pakistan 7.9 million, 5.9 million, Ukraine 5.8. Now Ukraine again it will escalate. Okay, so these are the sending countries, origin countries. Okay, receiving countries are US, Germany, Russia, Saudi Arabia, UK, UAE, Canada. Sending countries are these. Some of these sending countries are also receiving, and receiving countries also sending. That is very negligible, but largely these are the top receiving and sending countries. Okay, as I mentioned, demography includes size of population, age of population, skills. These are all include part, fertility, morbidity, all are part of demography. So if you see international migration, okay, you can see migration can also change the demography of the both receiving and sending countries. I'll talk in my next slide how they change the both composition and size. You all know, in my last talk I gave example, many countries now Indian people constitute the largest number. 70% of Guyana population, 60 or 70%, Trinidad nearly 42%. Okay, large, the majority are Indians. Is a part of migration only. Migration change the composition, size of population. It also change the age structure. Like if you see the, the people who are migrating actually, not old people. Okay, these are all mostly young people who are migrating. So this can change the age structure of the receiving country and sending countries. And also it will change the future birth rate and all. So all this put together, you see, many countries are very apprehensive. And if you see last 10 years at least, many countries are against the immigrant, including India also. We talk about Bangladeshis are coming, America talk about Mexico, Indians, Chinese are coming. Every country is actually apprehend. They feel future, is difficult for them because they see their culture will be losing, their their control over the politics may change, all these things. There are lots of apprehension. So this demography and migration is very, very interesting area. Okay. Then if you see the migration throughout the 20th century, Northern America, Australia, and New Zealand attracted highest immigration flow. You see what happened. These people who go to Northern America, North America means USA, Australia. Yes.
Things what?
But there is some sound from your 1 minute. Okay, I'm okay. So these countries attracted more people. Gulf is actually people immigrate, but they are not citizens. They'll come back. People go and come back. But many of these countries like North America, Australia, New Zealand, people go there and they settle there. They don't come back. Very few come back because the citizenship allows them, they can be citizen after staying for a certain period of time. And that's why you find many of the countries are now, you see the immigrants are president. You see Obama was immigrant. Donald Trump was immigrant. His forefather came. Even the Kamala Harris, they're all immigrant. If you go back, few decades, they're all immigrants. So this country is a country of immigrant, you can see. Australia also same thing. So this Latin America was consistently a continent of immigration, as I mentioned, Mexico and all. Throughout the last several, almost decades, people are going out only. They're not coming in. There is very, very few immigration to Latin America, more immigration. So these are the changes happening. Europe went through a major reversal from a continent of immigration until 1950s to a country of immigration. You know why this is. When the colonies were there, people are going from France, from England, from Dutch countries to outside to control the colonies. So outward immigration was there. But once colonies are abolished, people are coming back again. So immigration happened. So it has almost both, immigration and immigration overpowered over time. And some of the countries like Italy, you find 50% people going out, 50% coming in. So very interesting characteristic you find within Europe. In the 21st century, crucial questions for demographic and migration research are how fertility rate and immigration rate are going to develop in Africa. See, many countries, many times we just, overlook the population growth. For example, if population grow 3%, the country like India, Africa, they cannot absorb the people. Lots of unemployment, lots of, pressure on the resource, it will happen. So people have no choice. They have to go out. So migration is a safety valve for many of these countries. But if you see the population growing very fast in this country, it will create conflict across the globe. People will not allow you see the Syrian case, many European countries, they didn't allow them, many people dead. Afghanistan case, conflict happening, people are by force, they're going out and they're not having anything. And within the migration, international migration, this kind of conflict related migration, refugee, number is also growing. That is a very bad thing for humanity. Even the modest increase in immigration from Asia, Africa would generate major increase of immigration pressure in the rest of the world, because this is the place where outward migration is happening, and in future it will happen more because these are the young population and the population growth is very high. Okay. Okay. So if we see the projected population, we see these are the projected population. I just wanted to give some glimpse. This is the Pew Research Center. They compiled this. So this is the projected, you see, India will be the number one in another maybe almost you see 2020, India, China is very close. Okay. Another 20 years, India will surpass China because China, it is reducing. You see, 2020, it is 13 million 80 and China is reducing in 20th century, 21st century, okay, when it reach. But India is almost little more, it is increasing. But you see the other countries, Nigeria is next third largest country will be emerging very soon. Then Pakistan, USA, with some noise is coming. Okay. Then you find Pakistan, Congo, Indonesia, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Egypt. So almost 5 African countries are very fast, becoming most populous region in the world. And there will be huge international pressure on migration. So this is the future scenario increasing. And this can, create lots of imbalance. That's why people are now people see policy and other people, not conflict is a phenomenon, it will go on, migrant, non-migrant and all this. But we should focus on migration management, migration governance. Unless we do that, because it should happen within the country with international forum and all this. This scenario, which is emerging now, you see Brazil, Pakistan, Indonesia, Russia, Mexico, Nigeria, these countries will grow faster. Okay. And many of these countries, if you see the current economy and projected economy, they are very fragile, African countries especially. So they will have lots of out migration. So this is the scenario that is emerging. Next is almost same I mentioned. These are countries which has percentage wise, it will grow very fast. Nigeria, Angola, Tanzania, Somalia, Zambia, Burundi, DR Congo, already I mentioned in last, but these are the countries will very fast it will grow, the population. And this will create more international migration pressure. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. And this is another area if you see. Uh, One minute. So this is the scenario you can see it will emerge, where these countries 2016 and 15, this area will become, I just want to show the complete picture. There is some graph. Okay. Sorry for this disturbance. So this is the scenario you can find able to see Manish?
Yes, sir. Graph is visible. Yeah.
Okay.
We are showing the actual graph here.
So this is the migration stock, we see in this region. And it will be a huge challenge for many countries, especially to manage it. And 2050, you see the scenario. This country will have, the population growth and all this. These are almost quizzing. Okay. So Asia and Africa, they will take over the entire world. Okay. So this is the scenario.
Sir, if you allow me, I can talk about one another small thing.
Yes, please, please.
So this is the graph which you have shown is very startling, and the policymakers should start looking at it and start planning. Another issue is as you said, that the India will become, I think in coming 10 to 20 years only, we will become the largest population in the world. Now, another related issue is the configuration and composition of population. Particularly if you look at from the religious perspective, I will go straight. In India, what is going to happen? The Muslim population is going to be the largest in the world. Right now, it is Indonesia. So that will create another set of problem, and we need to get ready for that. What kind of implication it can have? That is another area.
I agree, because every religion also changing over time, every people changing over time. That's why we should focus on how to manage the migration. Because if you see today, the largest migration receiving country, where? Which is the largest migrant receiving country in the world? Region.
Sir, US.
It is,
Europe is the largest region, I think.
No, for Indians, in the overall, if you put together one region, it is GCC. Okay?
Gulf countries.
Region, USA as a country, yes, I agree. But if you take an entire region, it is GCC region, all Gulf Council countries, they receive maximum close to 45% of global migrants. They go to Gulf countries, and this region is Muslim countries. Okay, Malaysia. So if they can host, you see, entire, we cannot say entire world is same. Malaysia is different from Gulf, Gulf is different from Indonesia, Indonesia is different from many countries. Okay, you see, we have to see how to manage the migration. Religion is another contested area. We'll debate on that maybe some other time. But what I feel, the composition will change also. That will also.
Sir, I also want to add a point here that this population composition, which I study, that from 2050, India will be the largest country on the basis of population. But I think in this whole scenario, the role of migration to influence the demography is missing. I think this is based on the birth rate, death rate, and all the simple demographic variables. But if we consider the pace of migration in all this scenario, then I think this will be the different, because most of the scholars of migration are discussing that the migration is at infant stage currently.
That I agree if that happens, but world also becoming very restricted. If we see last at least since 9/11, okay,
Yes, sir.
the world is not that welcoming to migrant. Everywhere people are suspecting the migrants. Okay, even COVID time also we see lots of problem. Migrant only faced within country, outside country. So that also restriction will be there, but there is a decadal growth rate of every country. That includes migration also, because whether you count them or not, your decade, 10 years, one decade, whoever gone out of India, they are not counted. That means that they are migrant. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
by default, it is counted. Internal migrant not counted, but in international migrant, once you become citizen of another country, you are not a citizen of India, so you are not counted here. Maybe some data, sometimes you see data also not correct, but overall, whoever gone out for 10 years, they cannot be counted here. If you see the population census, okay. So that is how, if you are correct, we don't know if there is a large scale migration happen, it may unsettle. What you are saying, you are right also. If large, like Ukraine, now large scale migration happening. So that kind of projection will not work for Ukraine. Like, any place, Afghanistan conflicting area, it will not work that way. People will, they will do or die, they will migrate. Okay. So that is the scenario. That is a different, and that is emergency type of scenario. Like in partition time, India also experienced. Many people overnight gone to India to Pakistan, Pakistan to India, to one country got divided. So many emergency situations are different, but in common way, means in a very normal situation, this is the projected population. Then another issue, which is also very important, which is a very important driving force for international migration, is aging. Okay, why India overtook China? Why? China was the largest immigration country. Which China is the largest country which has largest number of international migrants. Few years back, why India replaced China?
Because our young population grew up in number.
Yes, because migrants, once the people are old, 40 years, above 40 years, nobody migrate. They'll take lots of calculation. If I go to other country, how many years I'll stay? Younger people are more to migrate. So China, if you see the population, they are aging also. Japan aging. Many of the Asian countries, Korea also aging. India is young, Pakistan is, many South Asian countries are young. Okay, in population. So you see that is the reason that earlier China was largest migrant sending country. Now they are coming down, less than India. Okay, so same thing will happen in Europe. What happened, if you see COVID time and all, many people above 60, 70, they passed. Even today, their average age is higher. Europe, US, and all this. Okay, and this kind of population, you see the family issue and all issue, it requires lots of human resource in the form of medical, healthcare, caregiving, household work, and that is the next, already not next. This is the largest human resource as international migrant now, not IT and all. That was in 90s. Okay. Now, if you see the largest human resource, it is healthcare, it is caregiving, household work, all this. India's largest migration, if you see, even Philippines, it is nurses. Okay, housemaids, these kind of categories are migrating more than other categories. So this is partly because of aging population in other places. Okay, so this is very important. 703 million persons aged in 65 years or over in the world by 2019. So this is a huge number. The number of older person is projected to be 1.5 billion, like our India. Okay, by 2050. You see, India also become no more young after 15 years. We will also be aging. Okay, so whatever best time for India is now. We have younger population. We should manage them well to be prosperous. Then globally, the share of the population aged 65 years or over increased from 6% in 1990s to 9% in 2019. So this population actually increasing. Even the those who are from Kerala, they will know. Kerala is also highest in aging population. That's why immigration is too much now to Kerala. From Odisha, Bihar, and many states, people are going to Kerala as within the country, and people from Kerala going out. That is a new trend. But once the aging population will be more, migration will be stagnant almost, because Kerala is now, we see, experiencing the return migration, at least last 10 years. Because many migrants, they have gone to Gulf where they cannot be citizen. So aging population, it has a huge challenge for demand and supply of human resource. If you see this projection, aging population will grow. Okay, so this is a project 2.1 billion, almost. It is a country like India and China. We see put together 3 point almost put together China and India. It will be the population of the aged population. So this is a huge, challenge for the globe, and this will drive actually migration, and you cannot help. You must be hearing many countries, they are anti-immigrant and all this, but again they'll allow immigrant, because you see America last year, once the COVID stopped, they have taken highest number of Indian students. I think 45 or 50,000 Indian students gone to USA in a single year, which is a very highest. So they cannot, run their education institution, their entire, machinery, governance, anything we see, research institution, healthcare system, all are run by immigrants, where 30%, 40%. The American healthcare system has almost 30 to 35% immigrants as doctor, as nurses and all. So even though they can be anti-immigrant, nobody can ignore them, because they cannot survive without that. So aging population will create further demand of immigration, like Harjinder was saying, even Manish also, both of you mentioned. This is a real challenge in future. Okay, it will change everything whether you want or not. Countries which are already, see, this is the reason. It will 30% and more aged population is this. You can see the area. Okay, this is the area, and they will go to the area. This white and blue area will conquer the green area. They'll conquer the blue area. This is the situation in 1950. You'll see many countries will change, like American. You'll find many times Asian becoming president. In England and all, you find Asian people, African becoming, prime minister and president. That is the scenario is going to. That's why lots of anti-immigration narratives are developed, but it will not help, because they have to survive. World has to survive. So this is the scenario. Okay. So if you see, this is the scenario. Over half of the US population growth has been Latino, Asian, American, and they have grown 43%. Someone was saying the population migration is not taken into account. Harjinder told it will be a big factor. In fact, both sending and receiving countries in coming years. So 43% growth rate of Asian and Latinos. And American election now fought with the anti-immigration rhetorics. Okay, most countries, England and all this, immigration is a big issue, and this is the deciding factor for their politics. So another area I'll talk about when we talk about demography. This is feminization of migration. Feminization migration, we all know. It is, in fact, the female is the center place of this migration. It was happening all the time, even during colonial time also. Almost 50%, 49% female also they have gone. Any other migration, because when migration happen, it is a family thing. Wife also joined, kids also joined. So male, female almost, it is almost 50%, close to that. But there is up and down also. Even the time of slave trade also, it was there. Sometimes it was 70% female migration. Sometimes it is only 4-5%. It depends upon how things are happening. Okay. But today's the character of female migration is different from the past. Why? Because earlier females were like, they're not the main migrant. They go with the husband, family and all. Occasionally they go as, like a professionals, student and all. But today's female are the main, they are very assertive. They go with their own willingness. They can go, they are going individually without family also. Like student migration from India to any country. They are all individual migrants. So this is the new character which is emerging, and female. That's why the kind of support system, governance system are changing in many countries, like Philippines and all. And many sectors are also responsible for that, especially the service sector, like IT, healthcare and all. These are all, even the tourism sector. These are the area which they prefer female migration. So this is also a driving force. If we see country like the Philippines, their main migration is their main GDP is from female migrants, remittance. In India also, if you see, Kerala also, large number of them are female migrants. So female migration is a very important issue for many countries. Between 1960s to 2015, the number of female migrants doubled. You see. So the number also, migration itself tripled also, 1970s to now, and female migration doubled. But so did the number of male migrants and the size of earth population. As a proportion of international migrant, by contrast, the females had increased only slightly from 46.6% in 1960 to 48% in 1915, and slightly actually came down in 1920s also. After COVID, actually, the female migration got a big shock, because many return migrants are female actually. Okay. And these female migrants are independent migrants, students, professionals, as I mentioned, the service sector, globalization of labor market, care workers, education skill of the female. These are all responsible for feminization of the international migration. So this is the global migration, but now I'll be talking about Indian immigration especially, which I talked earlier also a little bit, I gave brief overview, but I'll be talking today Indian migration on how the demography. You see, Indian migration is not a new phenomenon. Both going, coming, is ancient. You see, we all study about, Indonesia, Bali, Sumatra, even people during Ashoka time also study that religious Buddhism went from India to Sri Lanka, Thailand, and all. So large number of people as a religious, migrant, they have gone that time. Even if you find Sindhis, Gujaratis, and many other trading community, they have a long history also. From India to West Africa and all, there is a long history of Indian trader also, because before British came, India was one of the prosperous region in the world. Okay, and during Aurangzeb time, I read India also very, very big world trade was happening. Almost 14% of global trade share was with India. Even today's like America, you can see. Okay, so this was the history before British trade. So lots of trade and commerce used to happen with West Africa, with the Asian countries, and you know silk trade, that Chinese silk trade route, lots of trade was also happening across the continent. So that was time when lots of migration also happened, but many are actually assimilated. But the real international migration happened during colonial time. You all know after abolition of slavery, the colonies, they needed lots of labor, and India, China, many Asian countries, they actually supplied large number of labor, and almost 15 to 20 million people from India to various colony went. Okay, this was the large, this was the major phase of migration. After colony, that was actually almost 200 years that lasted. But after that also migration from India happened. Okay. So these four phases I'm talking about. One is during colonial time, then post independence, then 1972 Gulf, then after Gulf there is IT, professional migration to USA. So these four phases are very important, and that actually changed the demography and of the many countries. As I mentioned, Trinidad, Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, these countries demography got changed because of migration. And today also you can see slowly but steadily Europe, America, many countries demography changing. Okay. We see this particularly, this is the data from other sources, including also MEA, Ministry of External Affairs. So this is the phase of indentured labor, where people have gone to many fast. They have gone the first phase during British colony. They have gone in 1838. That was the first time Indians have gone in a large scale in a ship to British Guyana. Okay, then to Dutch Guyana, then to French Guyana, Fiji, and all places are controlled by French, British, and Dutch. Okay, Guyana, nearby Guyana, they control, because you all know British, French, and Dutch. They are the three major European colonizer. Then Spanish also are there, but this Dutch also they are Spanish speaking, I think, and these are the colonies people have gone. In 1838 they have gone, and you see the size, it was the number of, the number of people they have gone. Almost 2 million, 500,000, like this, you can find, okay? 2 lakh. So this is the size of population, and today they have grown in number, and they have changed the demography of those countries. Okay, and these are the countries: British Guyana, Dutch Guyana, Fiji, French Guyana, Grenada, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, Martinique, Mauritius, Natal, Saint Croix, Saint Kitts, Saint Vincent, Trinidad. They have gone very far away. Sometimes the ships, if you are familiar, you listen to the ships, Jahazi songs and all. There are lots of music songs. 3 months, 2 months, they traveled in the ship. Okay, so this is the story of those migrants. Very difficult, different type of migration compared to today. When you go in few hours, you cross a boundary within 2-3 hours, any one country to another country. And those days they used to go for 3 months, and that was different. That impacted the family culture of the people who migrated. In the ship also, they used to marry, they used to interact, they used to make friendship, and the caste system was abolished, because composition are different. So this was the, we will talk in more in that social cultural impact of the migration. And these are another, destination countries. Pakistan also is there because of partition, but these are the destination countries. Okay. UAE, United States, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Oman, Kuwait, and all this. If you see today, this again, if you come inside India, not all regions are experiencing international migration. This is the other regions are very less, but recent time especially. Punjab was experiencing in 70s, but if you see last 10 years, 10 to 12 years, UP, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and this region, they are experiencing maximum international migration. Okay. Now UP and Bihar are outnumbered even Kerala in terms of international migration. Okay. So there is changing within India also changing pattern. And all we know how migration happens. It is a chain. If one family member gone to another country, they'll take with them other family member, village people, like this, especially in the semi-skilled and unskilled family labor type. Professional skill you cannot do much because it is a profession. You have to learn the high skill. In the conclusion, I'll talk that demography and migration is very closely associated. As I mentioned, fertility rate matters, the population growth matter. It will change the overall scenario, the pressure on the resources within the country, and other things like opportunities and all this. So people usually, when there is a scarcity, they migrate. Even during British time also, it is not that there was a demand. In India also, there was unemployment and poverty. Okay, these are the factors. When population grow and resources are less, this will create lots of international migration. That is how we have to see demography and migration very closely related. And it will have impact on both sending and receiving countries, direct and indirect impact. Like if it is economy and social, political, you find many countries are facing. It may be social, cultural impact is little longer compared to economic impact, but it will happen. You all know now, many countries how the democracy is happening, how people are elected and all this, and largely part of migration, which happened few decades before. Okay, I'll stop here, and there are already I gave references. And in the unit itself, you'll find reference also. You can read, but this is, if you understand well, this will be very, you can write in your own word, need not to refer so many books and all. Okay. So now I'll be opening for any question, answer, anything, please ask. There are some questions in the chat box. Okay. Vijay has written. Okay. Abha Mishra, she has written about assignment, and second is about Beijing. Okay. Yes. She has mentioned that recent data shown there will be reduced fertility rate. Yes, fertility rate will be reduced. Country like USA, Europe, China, in India also to some extent in urban area and prosperous state, but it will not reduce everywhere. It varies from region to region. As I mentioned, Africa fertility rate is very high. and they will grow faster. Nigeria will become, almost third largest, fourth largest. A small country becoming fourth largest population is remarkable, and this will actually create lots of, outward migration. So this is very important. So, any other question?
Only thing, sir, I would like to say that before the invasion of Ukraine by the Russia, the biggest problem faced by the Europe was the migration, not any other problem. Now, another thing is that the different countries, there could be another point of discussion, maybe we will talk about it later, is that different countries respond to migration in a different way. For example, if we look at the UAE, the population of migrant is much more than their original people, but they have handled it quite well. They welcome them, they treat them with them respect. Okay, some other country might have a different arrangement. So how to deal with the migration is entire another different area, and different culture, different region, different nationality, handle them in a different way, and accordingly they get the different results.
No, I agree, but see, the biggest problem with the Gulf countries, they don't give citizenship. They know very well you will be not here after some years. Okay, so citizenship is a contested issue, not the worker itself. Many European countries and USA, they give citizenship after you stay maybe 20 years, 15 years. Now I don't know recently how many years of stay. Canada is giving citizenship before even, people are buying citizenship. Okay, Australia, you stay few years, they give citizenship. Some countries, they have no problem. Some countries have problem because it is very much linked to politics also, culture also, okay, society also. Okay, you see religious angle, you see cultural angle, you see how the political representation will change. So those areas actually creating some problem. Golf, they don't have such problem. You come and work and go. Okay, so every country, they have a different kind of issue. Okay, so any otherwise I'll stop here. Yes.
Sir, one thing which is also should be the area of discussion, that these permanent policies of migration and temporary policies of migrations are interrelated with each other in many countries. For example, one person is entering to Canada or America as a student, and after that he will get able to get the work permit, and after the work permit they become eligible to get the permanent residency. So these lines are also very blurred in
I know.
present scenario. People are going for on the temporary basis, but become the permanent residents. Even in most of the European countries, America, Canada, these are the policies in present time, that people are going for work permit or for study, and then they are planning to reside permanently there. And one thing is also very interesting, that the politics and the ground needs of these countries are sometimes contradictory, as the Trump did in his regime. That he tried to restrict the immigration, but without immigration these countries cannot survive.
That's true. That's true.
Europe, as the countries become, the aging population increase in these countries, without immigration the survival is not possible.
I just mentioned it is beyond our imagination how things will happen, whether you like it or not. Things will change simply. Just imagine some family, they have a old person and nobody is there. Most European families are like this today. Not like Indian family, you have children, grandchildren and all. Okay. So who will give support to them? It is the caregiver which is happened today. happened to be one immigrant person. So this is the reality, existential reality, which you cannot avoid, whether you like or not. So many European countries, they actually, because of Beijing and other economic demand, this is going to change in future. And that will change the every other thing also. Politics, culture, everything will change. That is how the human history. We also talk about most of the, our civilization, Indian civilization. It came from 5 race, Mongolites, then Aryan, then Dravidian, and all. Many came from outside. So that is how the human civilization. People may oppose, people may say anything, but if humanity has its own way to distribute and redistribute. That is what happening. Next 50 years is a very turning time as the population projection is happening. And we have to think how to manage rather than antagonizing people, fighting with everyone. Then even we cannot enjoy the fruits of development. We'll all keep fighting only. So this is the challenge we have. We have to think as a migration scholar how to actually bring these issues more and debate in our research and public discourse and all. It is not just an exam. And I want to just say all of you, I feel happy Harjinder and Manish and whoever, joining in debate. Keep doing that because that way I feel active also. We'll learn better actually. Those who are listening also then see the talk is, I'm clarifying some doubt. Okay, it is not monologue. We are actually interacting. So try to ask as many as questions. We should make it very interactive. So I'll stop here and thank you. We'll meet next Saturday. And